plans to revitalise College Avenue, please include your thoughts on economic, aesthetic and traffic issues.
All three of those are equally important. That's what I call is the scar across the beautiful face of our city. When I first came to town, whenever I came here back in 1985, it was just, we drove in, we thought, why would anybody live here? There's no there. And it was just obvious that something needed to be done. Now, College Avenue looks a lot better from Rock and Maple, where we did the sidewalks and street lights and street trees. That was nice, and some tree islands. Eventually, the plan is to have the elms, sycamores, and all those big native big trees arch over the road to where when you drive through the street, you'll be under a tunnel of leaves. It'll be just beautiful. But that's not good enough. That's a very narrow section of College. The more you go north, the road widens out, which gives us more opportunity. We need to get the power lines off the road. That's job number one. We might not even bury them, but we can go to mid-block easements and just get them off our thoroughfare. That way we can have wider sidewalks. We can plant trees that will get big because you see the nice trees here. It's because we didn't have any lines to deal with. We had some, we moved them. But if you have power lines, not only is that visual clutter there for the rest of our lives, you can't plant any trees there, so it's going to be forever ugly. It's not going to be easy. But if we plan for alternative transportations for bicycles, plan for pedestrians, plan for public transit by having, as I said earlier, pull-outs for buses and actual bus stops and bus shelters, which is almost unheard of. I think it is unheard of in Fayetteville. That we can make College Avenue attractive and so vital, and we can put, I'd like to see us put incentives in place to where if a business wants to expand or relocate, that they would look at College Avenue first, because I don't know what that incentive might be. It's going to take a lot of discussion with a lot of smart people. And say, if you want to build on College Avenue, please build on these used car lots, tear that thing down, put a nice new building up there, do it to our code, do it to the downtown master plan, and start bringing new energy and new economic vitality. That thing is our economic engine, should be. Right now it's an economic death knell. Everything's boarded up. It's tattoo parlors, gentlemen's clubs, used car lots. That's not the best we can do. And we have to focus on that. That's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of drive and a lot of tenacity. And when I see that we haven't really done anything more in the last 4 years than what we did when I was in office, I'm not optimistic that tenacity and drive is going to be there, because it is not going to be easy. I know how hard it was to do the first section, but now we know that it can be done and better how to do it. So I'm optimistic we can do it, but it's just going to take a lot of work and drive, and that's one of the things that I want to get done.
Okay. I will tell you that I have College Avenue on the list in the next phase of the street bond program, which is something that I've had staff working on for several months, maybe closer to a year. I also want to, for the record, say that the former administration spent $800,000 on college, and I spent $9. So we were just as interested in finishing up that project. We could have just done it halfway and not finished it up, but we felt that we needed to continue the plan to start. And I'll give Mr. Peter credit for that. He worked with the street committee and he moved that forward, but he started it and I got the job done. You see, folks, it doesn't make any difference who really gets the credit as long as the job gets done. It doesn't matter who starts it, who finishes it. I never have been concerned about credit. Credit's a funny thing. You can keep as much as you want, or you can give as much as you want away. And I really believe the more credit you give away, the more you receive. There'll be plenty of credit to go around for everybody. But that is on the list for the next phase. Or what we have run into on college right now, we're in an area which is it's very narrow, it's choked. So you're going to have to figure a way to get through that. And I've got the engineering and the planners working on that right now. When you get on up to North Street, then it widens out. Now we can start on North Street and go down, and we can look at that. But I certainly want the businesses to do well. But a lot of those businesses, when some folks came to me and they said, why don't you just get rid of all the used car lots? Well, those folks are zoned and they are a business and they have a right to stay there as long as it's zoned correctly. So it's not like you can just start shutting down used car lots so you can ride the road or plant trees or hope another business comes in. But we are looking at making improvements to College Avenue along with the other street improvements in the next phase of the bond program.
One thing that's very important to do is follow the downtown master plan, because we brought 1,000 people in from around the city over several months, and we designed our street cross sections and profiles. I would like to see us start following those again. Block Street is a complete divergent of asphalt. There are 2 sidewalks, but there's no bike lanes like there should be. There's no trail that had an opportunity. Instead of moving the power lines to mid-block easement, there's small lines that could have been buried. All we did was just take down the old poles, move new poles over 20 feet, put new poles back up. We missed a huge opportunity. That was designed in the middle of 2009, and I just think that if we continue to do things without really thinking about what's possible, we'll look up one day and say, you know, the streets are wider, but they're just as ugly as they've ever been. Instead of doing things that we can really think ahead and take the extra trouble to get the power lines off, put the bike lanes in, put water sidewalks in, plant the trees, and then from then on, that street will be an asset for this community. It won't just move traffic. It'll be a beautiful way for people to get around, more so than just driving.
Thank you.
Well, I do take issue with it's not being designed according to the downtown master plan. My planner, Jeremy Payne, I have all the confidence in the world. And when he brings that forward, it's not like that I shut that plan down. I assume that he knows what he's doing. That's why we hire these wonderful staff people. And we let them do what they do best. I don't micromanage the staff. They come in and say, Mayor, according to the downtown master plan, we're going to do this, this, and this. I look at it, and I approve that. Block Street, I will take full responsibility for Block Street. I do. They brought it in, I approved it, they took it to the street committee, and they passed it. But I'm the mayor of this city, and I take responsibility for the staff and what they do.